All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for another deep dive, and this time we are talking trash. Well, sort of.
Waste management, to be exact.
Okay, yeah, waste management, but specifically in the sugar and sweetener industry. So get ready to think about those Halloween leftovers in a whole new way.
You know, it's fascinating how something as simple as, well, enjoying something sweet hides these incredibly complex systems. And those systems, they generate a surprising amount of waste.
That's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We're not just talking about, like, candy wrappers here. Think bigger. Yeah. Way bigger. Imagine mountains of molasses, piles of sugarcane pulp, that kind of scale.
And those byproducts, they tell a story. For every ton of sugar produced, you're looking at up to half a ton of molasses and big ass left behind.
Whoa, that's a lot of leftovers.
It is. And it's not just about the sheer volume. It impacts industries you wouldn't expect. Biofuel, fertilizer production. It's all interconnected.
Okay, so we've got a sticky situation on our hands. Literally. But that's where, according to their website at least, GreenFlow Environmental Solutions swoops in. They're all about, and I'm quoting here, tailored waste solutions, turning that sugary trash heap into, as they put it, green gold.
Big promises. And don't get me wrong, if they can deliver, fantastic. They're talking cost savings for businesses, eco-friendly disposal, staying compliant with regulations.
Sounds like that's the whole package.
Yeah.
But what's the reality?
Right. That's what we're here to unpack. What does tailored actually look like in practice? Let's dig into their process a bit.
All right, so their website lays out a pretty straightforward approach. First up, the waste assessment. Basically figuring out what they're dealing with before doing anything else.
Makes sense. You don't prescribe medicine without examining the patient first.
Right.
Each sugar or sweetener facility is going to have its own unique waste profile.
So it's not one size fits all.
Definitely not. A small bakery versus a massive beverage plant. Totally different waste streams, even if they're both using sugar.
Which is where I'm guessing the custom waste plan comes in.
Exactly. Analyze the patient, as you called it, then create a targeted game plan. Adaptability is key here.
Next on their list, and this one is a little vague, eco-friendly waste processing. What does that even mean in this context? What are the options?
This is where the rubber really meets the road with sustainability. Are we talking basic composting or something more high-tech like anaerobic digestion to capture biogas? Each method has its own set of costs and benefits for the environment and the bottom line. So yeah, definitely needs a closer look.
And of course, no process would be complete without a little paperwork, am I right? GreenFlow really emphasizes their compliance documentation, making sure companies are ticking all those regulatory boxes.
Transparency and accountability are so important, especially with sustainability. It's one thing to talk a big game, but they need to back it up. This documentation is how they prove they're walking the walk.
Building trust, for sure. So GreenFlow seems to have the process down, at least on paper. But what about real-world impact? Are they actually living up to all these promises? And honestly, how big of a deal is all of this?
Those are the million-dollar questions. And it goes way beyond just the sugar industry. Sustainable waste management. That's becoming essential for, well, just about every industry. Food production especially.
Yeah, you always hear about food waste and its impact on climate change.
Exactly. And it's not just about what happens after you toss something out. It's about all the resources, water, energy, you name it, that go into growing, processing, transporting food that might never even get eaten. If GreenFlow can really make a dent in the sugar industry's waste, well, that could have a ripple effect. Think about it. What if we applied those solutions across other types of food production?
Okay, so big picture thinking here, but I gotta be honest, I'm still a little skeptical. Their website makes it sound so simple. Assess, plan, process, document, like a recipe for instant sustainability.
I hear you. It's always smart to be a little cautious when something seems too good to be true. One thing I'd want to know, how do they measure their environmental impact? Are they really making a difference, or are they just shifting waste from a landfill to somewhere else?
Because that doesn't magically make it environmentally friendly, right?
Right. There are different levels to being eco-friendly. And what about the cost savings they claim? Are those realistic or only doable for bigger companies with deeper pockets? We need data. We need real-world examples. We need proof.
It all kind of reminds me of those greenwashing campaigns companies love. You know, talking a big game about being eco-conscious, but
not actually walking the walk. I agree. That's where independent verification is key. Are they partnering with any reputable organizations, getting those third-party assessments? Transparency is everything. They should be willing to share their data, case studies, even open themselves up to audits.
Give us a peek behind the curtain. Show us the magic.
Well, exactly. That's how we separate genuine effort from, well, clever marketing. Look for that concrete evidence, that willingness to engage in open dialogue. That's what builds trust.
You know, this whole conversation has got me thinking about all those eco-friendly labels we see everywhere. Like, what do they even really mean? How can we, as consumers, how can we be smarter about these choices?
It's such an important question. We can't just take things at face value, especially with something as complex as sustainability. Do your research. Ask questions. Look for those details. It's empowering to be an informed consumer, don't you think?
Absolutely. And I think what's really hit home for me during this deep dive is how much potential is actually hidden in stuff we usually just, write off as trash. We were talking about turning sugar waste into biofuel earlier. That's incredible.
Well, it also makes you wonder, can something like that actually be done on a larger scale? Or is it going to stay a small niche kind of thing? Something to ponder, for sure.
Lots to ponder after this one. So next time you're enjoying something sweet, just, take a second. Think about where it came from, from the field to your taste buds and everything in between. And maybe, just maybe, we can find a path to a sweeter and, more importantly, more sustainable future.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Stay curious, everyone.